time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier and Chris Martineau. On this week's episode, number 47, Jay, Chris, and their special guest, host of the Confronting Columbine podcast, Amy Over. Jay, Chris, and Amy review the 1996 American meta-slasher film, Scream. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
Hey, friends. My name is Jay Fortier. I'm along with my good friend,
Chris Martineau. Hey, Jay.
How you doing, buddy?
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited today because we have Amy over here. She's with us, and I'm just pumped because I listened to every episode of the podcast that she's on. She's on a full season on it's this podcast from Wondery called Confronting, which is actually, it's got two separate seasons. So the first season is Confronting O.J. Simpson, but I ended up discovering the one that she's on, Confronting Columbine, first, and then I went back and listened to the other one. So I got to say, Amy, it is an honor to have you here, and I'm so psyched you joined us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today, and yeah, it's been a crazy journey this past year doing Confronting Columbine. Wow. Yeah, it's been a crazy year and emotional year doing this season, but we also had a lot of fun. Yeah. So,
well, it's what I would say to anyone who is interested in checking it out. It's not just something that would be it's not 100% like a gut-wrenching, sad thing. I would say the way I looked at it, it felt like therapy, really. I don't know if
that was the angle that we were going for, was really focusing on mental health and what it's been like for the past 20 years, for the past 2 decades, what it's like for survivors of mass trauma and how they deal with that and how they cope. And there's a lot of funny stories. There's a lot of it is heavy material, though. I mean, I definitely would caution people when they are listening to just be in the right frame of mind when you're ready to listen, because it is heavy. There are heavy content and heavy stories, but I think they're necessary and something that we needed to have 2 decades later.
Yeah, no, it's really great. So well,
thank you for listening.
Absolutely. I mean, just one question about you. I felt prior, when you first were introduced, and then at the end, it felt like it was definitely, it had a positive impact on you, with all the people you spoke to. You seemed to come out feeling, it sounded like you felt better as a result of the journey.
I did. It was a total journey for me. I mean, it took me a long time to even sign on to do this podcast because I thought I was done sharing my story. But there apparently was more stuff that I needed to find out in my healing journey. So I just kind of dove in and, I wanted to learn more about the investigation. I wanted to know, because I didn't dive into that stuff, going through being a survivor of Columbine. I didn't want to go there, but I went there. And then I talked to one of the perpetrators' moms, and I read the email that she sent me, and I didn't realize that I needed that in my healing process.
Right.
And, at the end of it, I could look back and say, okay, this was a really positive experience for me. Sure. And it was hard. I mean, I had hard discussions even with my mom, who's, my mom is dying from stage 4 cancer right now. And, it's really hard, but I had good conversations with her that I needed to have. So I mean, this was a really positive experience for me, and there's going to be more stuff coming down the line, so stay tuned.
Awesome.
So it's pretty exciting.
Now, if I can, if I can, 1 second, if I can interject a little bit in my time with therapy as well, it's one of the hardest things you have to do is recognize, and this is the sentence my mantra at times is, this is my truth.
Yes.
Regardless of whether I like it or not. This is my truth. I have to embrace it. And whatever, I mean, we're in different situations. I'm not saying I'm in the same boat as you, but it's this is my truth. We have to deal with it, and we have to move forward with my truth. You can't say this isn't this isn't the thing or this isn't that. Like,
Yeah.
this is me. And that's hard. That's a hard thing.
It's so hard. And it's ugly. It's an ugly
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to look at yourself and say, I'm kind of a mess right now, or I'm in an ugly situation. And, you know, but it's human nature. We've got to come out of it on the other side. You know, we can't deny, that we've got to move forward and not forget about the past, but we've got to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's what this arrow, I got this tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is whenever somebody asks to say, are you Native American? I'm like, no. This is just, it's just this represents always moving forward. It's
I love that.
way. So that's why. So it's the same deal. It's like, it's that way. We have to go
that way. I don't look back. I look forward.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it sucks, but it's that way. So, hey, cool.
It does suck, but it's necessary. And, I think mental health is on the forefront of, we're on the cusp of something big with mental health. And I think it's just, we wouldn't deny ourselves our insulin if we needed insulin, but we've got to be able to, be okay with not being okay.
Right.
Agreed.
So, Chris, you want to do the rundown of the film?
Sure. So after, and we have to embrace the fact that sometimes it's not okay. So let's talk about slasher films. All right. So,
yes.
Woo! All right. So this week, Amy, was this your doing? Was this your choice?
Yes, I love Scream. It's my favorite. It's my favorite slasher film, but I love Wes Craven. Like, he's my favorite.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to say Wes Craven is very good. I like John Carpenter a little bit more, but Wes Craven obviously has a very long history in terms of making all kinds of films, mostly horror at first. Some very disturbing horror movies like The Hills Have Eyes and that's a tough one to watch. But then he moved on. He did for the I know he didn't do For the Love of the Game, but anyway, the bottom line here is he's a fantastic director. And let's get into it. So I'm going to do the rundown here. So I have the IMDb page brought up. And I am we are watching Scream, 1996, runtime 1 hour and 50 minutes, directed by Wes Craven, writer Kevin Williamson, starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette. And the story is, in one sentence, a year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a new killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game. Wow. That's them. That's IMDb is summarizing in exactly uno sentence. And I think it's probably a little bit more than that, as we will discuss. So let's open up with the first question. And Jay and I have already prepped this, but I will ask you, Amy.
Okay.
When was the last time you saw this movie?
Okay, so for this assignment, I just watched it on last week. But before that, I actually watched it in. I was taking a film class in college a few years back, and I picked Scream.
All right, now that's right up my ante. All right, so that's cool. So that was a few years ago. So Jay, I'll speak for both of us on this. I don't know. Jay, did you see it more recently than we saw it?
Yeah, but I can't remember
when the last time you saw it.
It's probably early 2000s or the 90s, but it was still very fresh. It's my memory's so good for this, so it wasn't not very gone.
It was all right. So last time I saw it was with Jay. We were in. It was before 2000, so I would guess around 1998 or 9. We were in my basement of my home where I lived with my parents. We were in the basement because I couldn't get the TV, probably. And my basement was musty and gross. And that's where my father smoked his cigarettes most of the time. And so it was just smelled terrible and everything was yellow. And we were watching it on a very small television. But Jay said, we have to watch Scream. And I said, you're right. We have to watch Scream. So I watched it and I remember I liked it back in the day. And I do agree with you, Amy, that I think this is a film that you could do for film study. I think it's there. It's got so many components in it that so I was going to go down a different path first, but what did you take away? Like, what was film study about Scream like? That's what I want to know.
It was super fun. It was kind of nerve-wracking because I had to go up in front of the class and pull out little scenes and stuff. But It was super fun. I love the opening scene, like with Drew Barrymore. So I really focused on, that factor. And it's kind of like a satire. Like, would you agree? Like, it's kind of like a satire. So I thought that, but they still made it like super creative and funny and, like nuances of, like old slasher films and how you're not supposed to go upstairs. You're not supposed to, but they do it and they do it well. Like it's super funny.
Yeah, they tend to
that first scene.
I'm sorry, when it comes to those, there are certain rules, for the Jamie Kennedy thing.
Yeah,
that's basically. It's almost like they took the old school and said, "All right, we're aware of it. We're going to highlight it right now, everyone." So like if you're going to move on from here, you have to change shit. So like, by the time you get to, the newer horror, you might not want to have the same exact trope. That, okay, she had sex. She's got to die. You know what I mean? Like, or, type of thing. So,
right.
So it's kind of like Scream was almost like passing the baton to the next gen.
But they did such a good job at like the jump scares, of like, when Neve Campbell or when her character Sydney is in her room, like, and he's trying to get through the door, the killer's trying to get through the door. And it's just like, that's scary crap. Like it's super scary.
I would go one further. I would say in that opening scene that is meant to be. I'm trying not to talk with my hands. That is meant. Sorry, it's meant to be a satire. You're right, and it's that old. The babysitter's upstairs and they're calling from right outside the door, and it's set up at the beginning of that where innocent young Drew Barrymore is being led into. She's making dumb decisions about talking to a stranger that keeps calling and basically flirting with a stranger that keeps calling. And that is hearkening back to that early trope of early slasher movies with that set the standard of the kind of bubble-headed, not the final girl, but the weak first girl, as it were. But once it uses the same things, but then once you see the boyfriend tied up outside in the duct tape, that is terrifying because that's
so scary.
It takes what the original campy, it's kind of campy. It starts out campy. How are you this dumb? Why are you still talking to him? Why are you telling him what you're doing at every second? And that's what we're all screaming at the screen, right? But then once you see the boyfriend tied up, you're like, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. Like that was terrifying.
Yeah, you're not expecting it at all. And the scariest part, what he says is he's like, it's not, who I am, it's where I am. Yeah. Like, and that scared the shit out of me. Sorry, I cussed, but that scared me so bad. And I was 16 when I saw that movie when it came out. I was 16 years old. So I put myself in her shoes as a babysitter. I used to babysit all the time. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really scary. Like,
And it went from this movie does it a lot. The killer is, you don't know where the killer is, but then he's right outside the door. Like, not like I see him coming. He's right there. He's been there the whole time while he's been playing with these people. And that's the part that this movie does such a good job of paying either, and again, it's kind of genius. Would you all agree that this movie not only subtly pays homage to earlier slasher films with the opening scene, but also kind of does that meta breaking the fourth wall, we're in a slasher film thing, and it does it so subtly that you don't know which is which. Like, are they paying homage to the early stuff, or are they ripping off the early stuff, or are they making making fun of the early stuff? Because they make fun of horror movies in this movie.
A combo.
That's what I mean.
I think they're making fun of it.
Right, but it's terrifying.
It's so terrifying. He did such a great job.
I know. And whoever, again, it's a matter of whoever wrote it to whoever directed it. And I know who they are. I'm just saying, like, that's crazy how you can balance that, because it was really perfectly balanced.
Wes had read Kevin Williamson's script and said that was the most terrifying opening I've ever read. You know, like he was mind blown.
Yeah.
But I remember watching the commentary a while back, and so Drew Barrymore had just read the story about a puppy that was burned or something like that, and she was crying about it. And so Wes kept saying, "I'm getting out the lighter." Like he was doing like stuff to get into her head. And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's brutal." I feel like, why don't you see if she can tap in without you doing that?
Wow.
And the other bit is they never saw the guy who did the voice. It wasn't the two guys speaking through an actual thing. It was an actual actor that they didn't see.
Yeah.
So that made it scarier. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Scarier for the people because they didn't know what he looked like. You know, like who it was. You know.
That's so scary. I love tidbits like that of like the background stuff.
The actor
like that's
is
so
Roger
cool.
Jackson, and he's just credited as phone voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Can I do one more thing about Wes Craven? Wes Craven did obviously Nightmare on Elm Street, and then he took a break from Nightmare on Elm Street, and then he came back with the new Nightmare, right? Mm-hmm. Which is another meta horror movie, right? Because Freddy becomes real. Mm-hmm. And I was watching the making of all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets because I'm a weirdo, and I guess at one point there's a child in the movie. In the new Nightmare, I think, and they got to get the child to cry. So the child. So Wes was trying to get the child to cry, couldn't get him to do it, and the father said, "I got a way to make him cry." And the father would go up to the kid and go, "Your mother's dead."
Oh my God. Dude.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
That is something. That's yeah. He's not going to forget that. He's coming back.
No, but
oh my gosh, talk about traumatizing.
I think the deal was like that was because he was a child actor. That's what he used all the time. Like they kept. That's what they would say to him.
Tricking him into
No. That's even pseudo funnier. But no. They actually that's the trigger we use to get this kid to cry. Hey, your mother's dead. Yeah. What the hell? Oh my God! I know it's
so
terrible.
Awful. Oh my gosh.
Hey.
There's also
but kind of funny though.
There's also. So Drew Barrymore dies at the beginning. Basically, it was like her comeback role that it started her second career. So when the father says, "Get in the car, go to the Mackenzies," that's what Jamie Lee Curtis says to the little kids upstairs in Halloween when she was like, "Hey, go down the street and go to the Mackenzies." So it's like a little homage to Halloween there. Yep. I like that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I think Neve Campbell is talking to her friend, and they say, "This isn't like a horror movie directed by Wes Carpenter."
Yeah,
I think it's something like that.
And then she also did that little dig where she says, "You know, the first one was great, but the rest sucked." You know, like Nightmare on Elm Street.
But she also says, like, and I noticed this at one point. Neve Campbell it's the first time she's getting stalked by the guy on the phone, and she says, "Oh, those horror movies, they're all done the same. You know, what does it say about women? Like some big-breasted, bubble-headed blonde runs upstairs rather running out the front door." Right? Because that's stupid. You know, it's like, why would we go to the running car when we can go to the garage filled with the sharp cutlery?
Like in the Geico commercial.
Right.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, I love that Geico commercial. I was just thinking about that.
What happens after the ghost face comes in the house? She runs up the stairs. So it kind of talks about if you were in that situation, you don't think logically. You just think, I got to get out of here, and you go to the worst place, which is upstairs. I got to talk about. This movie is so suspenseful, like it's genius in that. And let's see how you guys feel about this. You know, it's set up like a slasher movie, and because it's a slasher movie, you know where the scares are going to be. You know where the victims are going to get taken. Like Wes Craven is teasing you, saying this is a slasher movie. You should expect this. but it's still so suspenseful, right? Like slasher movies from the 70s are fun, and Amy, you seem to you like these movies. You said slasher movies from the 70s are very predictable. You know what's going to happen. Even Halloween which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Halloween's a great movie. You know what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen in this movie. It's perfect in the suspense. You don't know when it's going to come up. And I don't know, do you guys think that, or am I crazy pants? All right.
Yeah, I totally, you never know what's going to happen. But I kind of had a feeling that the two, guys and the Neve Campbell's boyfriend, I had a feeling like even when I first watched it that he was involved in some sort of, like, I don't know, I kind of, but you're right. Like, I didn't know, like, I kind of didn't know when, like, the scares were going to happen, though. Like,
I gotta say, I gotta say something about the boyfriend, low rent Johnny Depp.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Couldn't quite get Johnny Depp.
Well, he did. Johnny was in the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
I know, but I'm gonna.
He was.
He was.
Sucked into the bed. And then, and probably
I remember
80
that.
gallons of blood got thrown onto the ceiling.
That's fine. Don't worry about that.
That was awesome. That was so awesome.
Yeah. It's not that much fluid in one person, but that's okay. Oh my God. I gotta say something though about Amy, what you just said is that, I thought he was in it too. Now keep in mind, and I saw this with Jay way back in the day, and I know I liked it. I totally forgot, and again, no spoilers in this show because we assume that the audience has seen the movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, go see Scream because it's good. But I forgot there were two killers. I thought it was all Matthew Lillard. So the whole movie, I was watching Matthew Lillard and noticing that he disappears a lot and then reappears after people get killed. I forgot about low rent Johnny Depp was actually involved too. The ending, I totally blew my mind. I forgot. But now, obviously they're setting it up where it looks like he did it at the beginning because he looks a little unhinged, right? But this movie is so full of red herrings. There's so many. They're trying to is it her father? Is it Matthew Lillard because he's just a little bit off? Is it Jamie Kennedy because he's obsessed with horror movies? Is it, what's his name again? I don't want to keep saying
Skeet Ulrich.
Johnny Depp. Billy. Sorry, Skeet Ulrich or Billy. Yeah, Billy. Is it Billy? Like we think it's Billy. For God's sakes, they convince us that the Fonz could have killed people for a few minutes, right? When he's he's a little off center, right? I mean, if this movie can convince you,
and he puts the mask on, he tries it on, and he's like,
he's got scissors to like
oh my God, those scissors.
Right, so this movie is constantly redirecting you as to who the killer could be when the answer was right in front of you the whole time. That's the whole point of how good that is. If you make everybody a suspect, you don't know who the suspect is, even when it's staring you in the face. That's stunning, right? And that's how this movie is far better than obviously any slasher movie because of that depth. They take that idea from the 70s where anybody could be the killer. Like the first Friday the 13th. Who's killing these people? Could be anybody. But literally in this movie, it really could be anybody. And we don't know to the end. And it's all, the red heading. It's so good.
It's awesome.
It's
so good.
That trivia question gets how many people, right? I mean, because that's a perfect answer that she gave. Jason! Because everybody flips out. And you know what I mean? Like, if you're being 100%, then it's the mother. You know what I mean? Like on the trivia question.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning. So it's so believable that someone would get that wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's the $1 million question that you got wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's what made that scarier.
Do you know, one of my favorite characters is Dewey, the police officer. He's just such an idiot. And I just love, like, how funny, like, he's just, he's just an idiot. And I love it. And it's so funny. And then Gail Weathers, the news lady. And I don't know, it's just, like, Courtney Cox is really funny in that movie.
I do like the fact that they do play down that he is a good cop. Is he a good cop?
No.
What do you think? No, he's not a good cop?
No, because he walked away. No,
he's like so afraid of everything. Like,
okay, all right.
He was supposed to watch Sydney, right? No, but he was supposed to watch Sydney, and he walks romantically down the street with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I'm like, wait a minute, he's like 100 yards away.
Yep.
Yeah, he's so funny.
He's not going to hear anything.
Probably not a good idea. There was a scene where
I gotta say it's loaded with sensitive kids. Like they are all very they care a lot about their classmates.
Oh yeah,
woohoo!
Yeah.
School's out,
the
party.
Principal was, and they found the principal in the football field. Let's go!
Yeah, I know.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Let me not go to that school.
They're burning donuts outside. Well, what's curious is that when after the first murder, and you have Matthew Lillard and you have Billy out on the bench, and they're being just as insensitive as can be, right? So that's kind of interesting because they're being insensitive about the murders in the town, and then they actually did it, and they're being insensitive about it. And later on, we have other people that don't have anything to do with it and are just as insensitive because they want to go see. So is this just a town full of possible serial murderers? I'm not entirely sure on that. There was a scene with Dewey, and isn't it great, Amy? Isn't it great that his name is Dewey?
I love it.
It infers that he's as fresh as the new fallen dew on the lawn.
Right.
He's so green. His computer station has all donuts bags and tough cop stickers and it's everything that you're supposed to be for a cop, but he's not that yet. But there's a scene which is so awesome, and it's not so funny, but it's him and the police chief, and they're standing outside the police station, and the police chief has a cigarette and he has an ice cream cone. Yeah. And he drags on the cigarette, and while the other guy licks the ice cream cone at the same time, both hands go up at the same time. Drag, lick, drag. That's awesome. That's how far apart they are in terms of their experience. He's obviously a hardened vet, and he's just Dewey.
He's just Dewey eating an ice cream cone.
I know, and but he's licking an ice cream cone really tough. He's got a very sincere look. Yeah.
He tries to be tough. He tries to be so tough, but he's not. He's just he's so innocent. He's so innocent.
My boyish good looks. What he says, I forget what he said. Yep. It's add muscle mass or whatever. He's as a rail.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he's got a prepubescent mustache as well. He's got an almost not quite mustache. So that's good stuff.
And I think it also sells it that he's living with mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean? He comes out in his underwear with the gun.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Right. And I love how the sister gets killed. That's pretty cool. I don't know. It's total slasher. Isque. It's just, she gets sucked up by the garage door or something. Gets cut in half.
It's classic slasher because there is no garage door opener with that much horsepower to lift the person and B, snap their vertebra. But that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. But, it's scary because she's trying to go through the little dog door and she gets cut in half. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, no. And it's neat because it is suspenseful, right? You are she's in the killer's always in the room. Mm-hmm. It's not, there's no chasing. There's none of that Jason stumbling down the football field and someone running up for 100 yards and then the woman falls down and waits for Jason to shamble up and swing him around and hit him against a tree. He's always right there, which to me is, again, that just, for taking a movie that can be so silly, because it's a silly movie at times. Yeah. It is, but it just makes it so suspenseful when it needs to. And,
and the fact that there were two killers, there were more than one killer, I
have that in my notes. I have that. It's an absolutely unexpected ending because as much as they talk about horror movies having a formula, nobody's ever done that formula. Nobody's ever had
which
two
made
killers.
it scarier that he said, "Which door am I at?" At the beginning.
Oh,
So
that
no
was
matter
like
what,
terrifying.
Somebody was going to be on either door. Like she could.
Oh,
she
my
couldn't have picked
God.
the right answer.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Well, yeah, she's screwed. Like, absolutely, like, cornered. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I never even thought.
And I can't believe they killed off Drew Barrymore. Like, she's so famous, you know, they killed her off, like, right away, you know, which shocked me because I thought Drew Barrymore was going to be in the movie the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, it set the tone.
It does. It was like, they're not messing around. Like, this is good.
Right.
This is crazy.
Yep. No, I was
Game
just
of
going to say
Thrones.
that. Like, they don't get...
Anybody see Game of Thrones here?
Yeah.
No. Well, spoiler alert.
I know who goes first.
No, but I'm saying, like, at the end of season 1, they're not going to kill Ned Stark. They killed Ned Stark.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, what are they doing?
No.
Don't kill Sean Bean. Yeah.
The Walking Dead was good for that for a while because the mantra of Robert Kirkman was someone's got to die. Like someone, it doesn't matter who, nobody's safe. Someone's got to go.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is, but somebody, they don't do that now, but because I don't even know what's going on, but it's just a bit much. But that's neither here nor there. Can we talk about how adorable Jamie Kennedy is?
Oh, yeah. He's pretty adorable.
He's adorable. There's no doubt about it. I love that he worked in a...
By the way, saying, Jamie, look behind you. Jamie, look behind you. And his name is Jamie. Like, he keeps talking about Jamie Lee Curtis. But it's like...
Oh, yeah.
That's his name's Jamie. Yeah. And the killer's behind him.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, yeah, I just not that last night was the first time I noticed that. I'm like, I forgot his name's Jamie.
That's
He's so
funny.
interesting. He's so good.
He's subtly funny,
that.
you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, he's just super funny guy. Like I love. He kind of made the movie just better. He's awesome.
He reminds me a little bit of me in that he knows too much about movies. And he likes to talk to people about movies. And he likes to tell people, like, why movies are good or bad. And he worked at a video store, which I worked at a Blockbuster. And real hard time getting the ladies. But that's neither here nor there. I really like the scene. And again, in retrospect, you realize it after, which again, good for Wes Craven for being patient with the movie. He's in the video store with Billy and Matthew Lillard. What the hell's his name? What's Matthew Lillard's name in this? Billy and Stewart. And they're everybody's getting movies because it's curfew and everybody's going to go allegedly stay at their houses. And it's Billy, Stewart, and Jamie Kennedy. Yeah. And they're in between them. And Stewart's like got his head on his shoulder and Billy's on the other side. And it's almost like two cats playing with a mouse, if you look at it after, because they're real close. They're very close to him, and they're asking him very direct questions. And Stewart's, like, on his shoulder. Like, Stewart's always really close to the guys. And basically nibbling at his ear. Like, it's almost like two cats playing with a semi-dead mouse.
He's playing with his earlobe.
I'm serious. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, I mean, he's funny. Just taunting the hell out of him, but you don't know that at that moment. And you don't even know that when you watch the movie. No, and he's there at the end. He's there, you know, at the end of the movie. He's watching the Halloween or whatever he's watching. And he's just like, oh no, don't go up the stairs. Don't go up the stairs. Like, but everything, like, he's there with the killers. It's like, he is like oblivious to it all. Right. Because why would you think that? Why would you think your friends are these two guys? Like, there's no reason to think that, even though they fit into the horror formula every step of the way, which he keeps professing that he knows that reality is like a horror movie, but he doesn't see it once, which is great. I do love the fact that he said, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
Go.
I'm holding. Well, I just like in the video store that he's riding a cart. He's not just pushing the cart. He's like skateboarding this cart around when there's like probably like 80 people in the video store. He's like, and you know, like bumps into somebody. Yeah, that was just great. It just shows his maturity level at the time.
Oh, not real mature at all. By the way, and again, another movie where all the high school students look to be about 30.
Yep.
Jamie Kennedy does not look 17. Nev Campbell does not look 17 or 18 at all.
Okay.
Not a bit. I'm sorry. Not a bit.
No, that's fine. Go to your point that I stopped you from saying, and then I have another one after that.
I just like the fact that, again, talking about how adorable Jamie Kennedy is, and he's a pretty lonely guy. I mean, if he had girlfriends, he wouldn't be able to watch so many movies, right? So, hey, there is some benefit. But at the end of the movie where he says, I'm so glad I'm a virgin, because he was like the only one who didn't get murdered, which is great.
I know, and I thought he was going to get murdered the whole time because he was so close to like everything. Like he was just, there and drunk, and he was just like the typical high school. I don't know. He was just drunk and just by himself, with the killers, and they didn't kill him.
But Amy, let's think about it this way. He would rather be alone and drunk with virtual Jamie Lee Curtis than anywhere else on Earth. Doesn't that say something about him? Right?
Yeah, it does.
He didn't want to go see Henry Winkler get gutted, which I guess is good. But he would rather be alone with beers and Michael Myers than anything else. So, which I think
he was just trying to tell all the kids about what he knows about slasher flicks and stuff.
Yep. And no one wanted to listen.
Nobody wanted to listen.
It's my life.
Well, I have another point that I was going to make, but before that, I just want to say I really miss video stores. I mean, I love the fact that we can get anything we want in a heartbeat, but I do miss the atmosphere of walking around and picking what you want, like through the catalog, or like all the everybody. They got this, and then there's other people there. They're talking about it. It's just, and sometimes some place would have a popcorn machine or something. I'd never buy it, but that smell, it's just like heaven.
Picking out your candy for the night, and I do miss that. Like, you made a good point. Like, I miss that. That's why I try to buy actual like physical books, because I miss I listen to audiobooks sometimes, but I love the hard book. Like, there's something about it.
I'm not doing an e-reader. No, I'm with you. And I don't care how much space it takes up. I want physical media. I want my DVDs. I want my Blu-rays, and I want several bookcases of them. So when I look in, I can see them, and they're alphabetized, and I can look and I can see what I have. I don't want a digital stamp of that. That's nonsense. I want physical media. Yep. Now, granted, I buy the physical media and I upload it to my Vudu, but that's besides the point. I have the disc. It's right here. I like that. I don't care what other people say. I'll fill all my bookcases. I don't care. So
I'm old school like that too.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's awesome. What about there's only one point I think that I found very cringeworthy, and that's when Nev Campbell, right? Sydney says, or even a good porno. I was like,
yeah.
And then she flashes him. She flashed him.
Yeah, but it's just when she says that, it's like, really? That's the green light? You went from romance to full-blown porn. Come on. You couldn't have said anything
Jay.
else.
She didn't say semi-okay porno. She said a good one. So she can somehow differentiate.
It's like,
not a low-class porno. We're talking high,
a good one.
Shelf, 5-star porno.
That's why I'm like, wow, that's just cringeworthy. Like, I hear that, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a weird green light there.
I have, and I'm going to sound like, I don't know where anyone else stands on this, but like, I don't have a problem with love scenes, and I don't have a problem with with a sex scene, as long as it contributes to the story somehow. Gratuitous is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's just whatever. That's all over the internet. I don't need to watch. You don't need to interrupt my movie with that.
Yeah.
If it forwards the story, if it's important to the story, fine. And in this case, it was important to the story that they did actually do the act, and she kind of gives in to his wants and desires. But at my age and as a school teacher, I feel awfully uncomfortable when two people that are supposed to be in high school are like undressing.
Yeah.
In their parents' bedroom. Ooh. Sometimes near stuffed animals. It just makes me, I know it's because of my age and it's because of what I do for a living. Because I know that I just said they don't look 17 or 18, but they're supposed to be 17, and it makes me feel yucky. And it was an important scene. I mean, it's no doubt it's an important scene. But oh God.
They didn't get gratuitous.
No, they didn't. It was as tasteful as it could be. You're right.
They didn't show it?
Yeah. Well, I thought they were going to get, like, the killer was going to be in the room with them or something. Like, I thought, you know, but.
Well, he was.
Yeah, exactly. He was, but, like, I thought, like, maybe, you know, the ghost face guy was going to pop out somewhere and, you know, like a normal, like, you know, sex scene on a horror film, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do give him props for, like, not being real gross. In terms of, like, because it would be unnecessary. But boy, I mean, this comes from Wes Craven. Again, Hills Have Eyes had terrible.
Yeah, that's a crazy movie.
That's a tough one. Anyhow.
Well, it's funny. I remember myself. I remember loving the horror part, and I had to go and rewatch it. I'm talking about, like, first time I ever saw it. I had to go and rewatch it. I think on video, just to make sure, like how I felt about it, because I wasn't ready to be laughing so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I watch a horror movie, I know there's going to be, you know, moments where you can laugh about stuff. But at the end, you know, when he's like, my mom is going to be so mad at me, you know, like in all the different stuff, like Matthew Lillard was great, but I'm like, why am I laughing? I'm in a horror film. You know, like, so I wasn't ready for that. That wasn't something that is normally, you know, it was almost like they were like, we're going to take Friday the 13th and she's all that and we're going to put it together. No, I'm just, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It was like very like, woo, like, I don't know, campy in a way, you know, for the kids were like, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about? Like the vibe in the high school, everything had that 90s. Yeah, she's all that kind of, you know, vibe. And that was kind of like the 1990 97, 98 movies, you know? Like, that was kind of like what was popular then, you know? Right. So I just was... anybody else felt that? See what I mean? Like, about, like, it was so weird how they entwined so much, like, humor in the end. I loved it. But it's just one of those things I kind of needed to go catch it again and say, all right, now I'm ready to... You know, so I know they're going to be laughing. Like, you know, there's going to be a lot of laughter at the end. Yeah.
Are you saying you weren't sure if you should be laughing at it?
No, it's just that, you know what, when you're expecting one thing at a movie theater, and they throw you those curveballs, you're not sure how you're feeling when you're finished with the film, because it's like, whoa, I was in for a horror film. Like I'm wanting a brand new version of Friday the 13th or Halloween. So just give me the similar thing that I love, and that's great. I know they flipped it, and that's wonderful. I'm talking about when they started doing all the weird comedy stuff, like Matthew Lillard making, like, you know, jokes. I mean, he's full of blood, and he's still like making me laugh. And I'm laughing, but I'm like, why am I laughing? I'm supposed to be like, aren't we supposed to be like, you know, everybody running for their lives at this point? You know, where it's, you know, the intensity. It was what I was missing at that moment. You know, like, so I was saying, like, I had to go back and watch it when it came out, just to, you know, like, because sometimes I have to go watch it. Okay, now I know what to expect. Let me watch it again and make a better judgment on it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I also I felt sorry for Sydney Prescott. Like, I just felt sorry for her, and I had all these emotions watching the movie, but I felt sorry for her because, you know, she lost her mom, then she loses her virginity to, like, a killer. you know, like, and she was like virtuous, you know, like, so I just, I don't know, like, I kind of felt sorry for her.
I was
too. So it was like a lot of like emotions in that movie.
Sorry.
I had forgotten that the dad was alive. I was like, oh no, did they kill him too? I
know. Yeah. And he was in the like closet or something, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of dragged him out at the end.
Yeah.
Does he makes it out of the whole thing? I forget.
He does.
He does. Okay. I'm sorry if I blanked on that. I know that there was a scene where they were both near each other. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. That was another red herring. And I like the end of this movie accelerates so quickly because they're at the party and everybody's all together. And you really, again, I forgot who did it. I forgot there were two murderers. Mm-hmm. And all of the people that could have done it all drop like flies. Like there are less and less people at this party. So at first it's a house full of people. And then the kids drive to see the dead principal. And then people start getting slaughtered left and right. So it's like there's only so many people standing. And there's that moment where it's Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy. And they're both like, no, he's the killer. No, he's the killer. Right? Right? And it's like,
yeah.
What?
And she's like, forget it. I'm out.
Yeah. And then you're just like, who the heck did it? Like, but it's on? Right. Yeah, what's going on? And then I just, they're stabbing each other, and it gets crazy.
Oh, that was wacky.
Yeah,
that was.
Oh, it's totally unhinged. And he was doing his best. I forget his name, but the guy from American Psycho. If you saw American Psycho, who played Batman, Christian Bale, right? He's cuckoo nuts in American Psycho, and he does have a white T-shirt on. So I felt as though Billy was doing his, I don't know which movie came first, but he's like, movies don't make people crazy. They just make you get more creative. And he has his hair's got that Christian Bale hair going on. It was just very unhinged. I was genuinely scared of, what's interesting is that Lillard is just crazy and likes to kill people. And you think Billy is just crazy and wants to kill people, but he actually has motive.
Yeah. Matthew
Lillard doesn't have a motive. He's just along for the ride because he's a sadomasochist. Whereas he's got a motive, like almost like Neve Campbell is the end game. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is just leading up to Neve Campbell, and that was just super. And it gets into that character. That's how you could convince Stewart to be stabbed several times to go along with this because he's just into killing people.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just blah. Good stuff.
I got a question? Did Billy kill her mom?
Yes.
Neve Campbell's mom.
Yes.
So did they both kill her?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so because they said that they set up Liv Schreiber, Cotton.
Yeah. Cotton.
It's that they both set him up that it would look like he did it. Because he was one of her boyfriends, the mother's boyfriends.
How weird is
that? Is he in this? Is he in this? No, is he in the second
he
one, by
actually
the way?
Speaks. Yeah, he actually speaks in the second one. This one, they just show him on a news footage, and that's it. They don't even, it's weird that they didn't get into any depth at all with him. Like, not even a jail interview, like a soundbite on TV.
I wonder with that, and I haven't seen any of the other movies, to be honest. Were they planning to? When they did the first one, why would they get an actor like Liev Schreiber? I forget his name. Why would they give him a role that takes 2 seconds if they weren't planning on using him again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
He didn't even speak.
No.
So like completely non-speaking role.
Kind of bizarre.
He's in part 2, and Timothy Oliphant is a main character in part 2.
All right. Super.
I need to watch the second one. I might watch that soon.
There are 4 of these things. I don't see.
I know they just kept going.
What's the deal with the reboot?
I remember the third one being terrible.
Okay.
I remember being very upset with that one. And,
all right.
I never bothered with the fourth yet. I'll probably
the fourth one
now, but I
think it was 10 years after the third one.
Wow.
And it's David Arquette again.
Yeah.
And there's a reboot. I think.
Not yet, though.
There's a reboot on this movie. Or there's going to be one. No, but there's going to be one, which I don't get. Not Scheme. Scream. Don't forget the R.
I know Scream.
And Nev Campbell's in it.
Then it can't be a reboot, really?
Well, but there's no number on the end of it.
Oh.
A new installment of the Scream horror franchise will follow a woman returning to her hometown. But it's just called Scream.
Yeah.
Huh.
So Final Judgment. No, not Final Judgment. We were about to do Final Judgment.
Yep.
Final Destination. There was like,
cool.
Final, the movie Final Destination, and they were like, part 2, 3, The Final Destination. Like, it's like instead of naming it 5, they put a "the" in front of it. So.
The final, really Final Destination.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, we want to get to Final Judgment.
Want to do it? All right, so let's do Final Judgment.
It's time now for Final Judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the Final Judgment.
All right. Right now we're going to be doing Final Judgment, which basically is whether the movie holds up or not. I think there's a good chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Amy, would you like to go first to basically, decide how well this movie holds up today?
I think it holds up extremely well. My kids, so I have almost a 16-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old nephew, and they loved it. We're talking, this movie was made in 1996 and it still stands the test of time. Mm-hmm. It scared the crap out of my kids. The beginning episode, or the beginning, opening act really scared my kids, and they loved it. And they were just involved in, we all were just engulfed in this movie, even though I've seen it, multiple times, but we were just jumping out of our seats and having fun and laughing and, just loving this movie.
Good.
Nice.
I would agree. Yeah. Jay, I'll go if that's okay.
Sure.
So I would say, yes, it does hold up. I think it holds up in terms of it being clever. I think the writing is good enough that there's nothing, the pace of the storytelling is good. It doesn't assume I'm stupid, which is nice. So that makes something it makes me figure it out, right? There's nothing in terms of social commentary. There's no things that slurs you would say back in the 90s that aren't okay now, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's none of that in this movie. I did the muted love scene was great because, again, I get a little weirded out. The only things that don't hold up, in my opinion, are the things that are integral to the story. The video store doesn't hold up, but you have to have the video store. Otherwise, Jimmy Kennedy's character isn't the same. You can't have him just be a guy that likes downloads.
Hey, it's not strong.
You know what I mean? And you can't have this movie with cell phones. All of the phones, the calling on the phone, the mystery of who's on the other side of this line that we used to all go through, the phone's ringing, I don't know who that could be. And not everybody did caller ID. It was kind of nonsense anyway. So, back in days when you could actually crank call people and get away with it. But that doesn't hold up, but that mechanism is integral to the story, so you have to keep it. So, obviously, those are the only things that don't hold up, but I mean, you need them. And it's not at the cost of the rest of the movie. So I would say, yeah, it's still scary. It's still fantastic. It still keeps you guessing. So it holds up absolutely.
What I love is, by the way, the line where he says, what are you doing with a cell phone? Everyone's got one, he says. I'm like, no, they didn't. Not back in 96. I didn't get one until after. Nope. I think mine's 2002 or something. It was the first time I got one.
the nice flip phone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's funny. Absolutely. I think it holds up. I saw another thing yesterday that I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So the news reporter that says, how does it feel to almost get completely hacked or whatever? I forget what she says. And she goes, yeah, the public needs to know. Linda Blair.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was Linda
The
Blair.
Exorcist. was the
Yep.
She was was the lady with
also,
the microphone. I was like, oh my god.
Also, if I can, the nod to when Henry Winkler sees the janitor outside with the Freddy sweater.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I love that.
And he calls him Freddy.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that the guy in the sweater was Bob Shea, who was the head of New Line Cinemas.
Wow.
When they were releasing Nightmare on Elm Street.
No
So
kidding.
I'm pretty sure. I know that's
awesome.
a deep dive, but I'm pretty sure that's Bob Shea.
That's so cool.
I didn't check the credits, but I don't know that he would be credited anyway. But anyway,
when I'm done with that, I'll tell you my most one of the scariest parts in most any film that I would watch as far as horror. But we'll go with I would say it felt fresh. And that's important because I think anyone I'm not surprised, Amy, to hear that your 16-year-old and the 16-year-old niece or nephew, niece, both loved it. It just, it didn't feel old. It didn't feel like
nope.
Minus Jamie Kennedy's outfit. Kind of looked a little 90s when he was wearing that green and gold.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Other than that, no. It's still really.
I'm waiting to see the wallet with the big chain. I was waiting to see the wallet with the big chain.
Oh yeah.
That was big.
But what is old is new again. I mean, the kids are kind of dressing 90s-ish right now.
Oh,
so that's kind of I think they kind of it's such a shame. They're wearing the big platform shoes and all sorts of stuff.
Please don't bring back the day glow of the early 90s. The Fresh Prince era.
I don't know.
Everything was pink and neon blue and please stop.
Yeah,
but
no.
Oh yeah.
But absolutely holds up. There's really not much more to say on that. I do want to say, you're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the scariest moment, and probably the one I get the chills most, is when Nancy falls asleep in class, turns right, and sees her dead best friend in a clear body bag saying her name to her right in the class, man. She's like, got a bloody face. And I'm like, my God. Yep. I was like, that always kicked
I didn't want to fall asleep after watching Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not want to even go to sleep. And I was little when those movies came out, but I have an older brother, so he would watch it, and I would try to stay up and sneak and watch these movies. And I had to sleep in my parents' room for a while.
I'm sure
I was so terrified.
I'm sure they were thankful that you watched that.
Oh, they loved it. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
So listen, it was awesome. Cool. So much fun having you on. I'm glad. I love talking horror movies. I mean, we did.
Oh, I do too. Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Oh, good.
So yeah, thank you.
This is so much fun.
Yeah, we'll love to have you back. Maybe we'll do Scream too.
I'd love to come back. Let me know what you guys want to do. This is fun, and anything I can do to promote you guys, and let me know.
That'd be great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. That maybe should be another horror movie, I think.
Yeah, like I
think so too. Maybe a new horror movie
absolutely.
That's out.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I'm totally down.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Amy. That was really
also, did you want to promote the Rebels project as well? Tell people about that?
Sure. Yeah. So I am the director of fundraising for a nonprofit organization called the Rebels Project. We are, we help survivors of mass trauma all over the country. And we started after 2012 after the Aurora Theater shooting here in Colorado. And now we're in over 100 communities across the nation. And yeah, if you want to check us out at www.rebelsproject.org, and come check us out. We're always looking for, anyone that needs help. We help with their mental health services, just stuff like that. And I raise all their money. So we have a donation link on there. $10 is a lot of money for us. So any amount is greatly appreciated. And it goes strictly to survivors of mass trauma.
That's great.
Excellent.
So
that is really awesome. Doing the good work. Fantastic.
Yeah. Doing the good work. It's awesome. Exciting.
Excellent. Well, if you guys want to email us, can I do that?
Yeah, by all means, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cut all that out. If you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at filmcrickets8099 follow us on Twitter, Instagram now, apparently.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Just started that.
Again, I've got yeah, I know, that's good stuff. Little snippets of our old faces and other stuff. But I appreciate, let everybody know about the Film Crickets. Climb on board. I welcome any opinions that you might have, or any omissions that I may have forgotten about, or Jay has forgotten about, or points that we didn't make, or you disagree with. I'd love to hear it. That's fantastic. So, and again, rate and review on Apple if you can. Jason?
All right. Also, if you can like and subscribe on YouTube, that'd be great. We like that. Anything that we can get help, we appreciate. All right. Well,
yep.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Jay and Chris, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Chirp about